is your colleague denied access?
Which colleague?
Senator Natasha Akpoti,
the senator on suspension. Look, my brother Sheung, and I want to tell Nigerians, we have said what we are supposed to say about the issue of Senator Natasha, who's our colleague. And we are not even interested in entertaining any kind of fancy about it anymore. And I just want to reiterate that the Senate, the National Assembly at large, has very, very onerous roles to play and a lot to do. We are legislators, we are lawmakers. We are not spectators to be watching skit making and content creation. So initially I said that all this episode, all this saga, just about content creation. And then the content has been created and is now maybe degenerating into season film. We are not interested, we are not actors. We are lawmakers. And we are not interested in all these kind of things.
As the Senate.
And mark you, my brother, even when any litigant goes to court and gets any judgment, either that person feels that this is judgment, this is an order, when that is not an order. That litigant does not even enforce orders by himself or herself. There are court bailiffs who will serve orders on those ones that orders are supposed to be served on as prescribed by the court. And then why, if those people that orders were served on do not take to the orders, then those ones can be accused of contempt of court, and then they will be charged to court accordingly. So I hope and I think and I know that Nigerians know that this is another skit making. This is another content. This is just the continuation of the content creation episode of our own colleague. But like I said, we are not interested in joining issues with it.
But let's get clarity.
The Senate has already done what it's supposed to do constitutionally, and which the court upheld that the Senate, according to Section 60 of the Nigerian Constitution, and then the order and the rules book of the Senate. So the Senate has done what it's supposed to do, and then we have already issued statements. And I want Nigerians to know,
Senator,
that we are not even interested,
because we have a lot
of things to do.
Has the Senate received the court judgment?
You said
the High Court judgment. Has the Senate received it?
Yes, we have. We have seen it.
That the suspension of Natasha.
We have seen it.
Illegal and
there was nowhere in the judgment. Anybody who has it can show us where it is written, where it is pronounced that it is illegal, that it is unconstitutional, and that an order was made. The only order that was made in that judgment was the order that our colleague, Senator Natasha Akpoti, should apologize to the court and pay 5 million naira fine. And she had appealed it. I don't know how somebody will now say he or she is appealing an order and now wants to enforce an opinion.
No, as far as the Senate is concerned,
any order, as far as the Senate is concerned,
Senator Natasha stands suspended.
Well, as far as the Senate is concerned, we have said that until and when the court rules and gives a definitive order that, look, what you have done is unconstitutional, it's illegal, and anybody can point it to me. And bring it out to me.
Those are the words of the court.
My brother. Yes. No. Unconstitutional is not there.
Excessive.
Unconstitutional is not there.
Did you see the version
where? In my own opinion, opinion of a person is not the holding of a court. It's not judicial. And like I told you, I said, we are not interested in maybe watching all this kind of content creation episode anymore.
Senator Yemi Adaramodu tries to downplay and label skit making, as something that is a jobless kind of thing. He tries to label Natasha Akpoti as a skit maker, not a senator. And you can see how dismissive he was about when Sheung asked him the question about suspending Natasha Akpoti. You can see how dismissive and nonchalant he was about it. For him, it didn't matter. He just said it. We're not about skit making anymore. And as far as he's concerned, as far as the Senate is concerned, Natasha Akpoti still remains suspended until when they deem it fit, maybe before the 6 months is over. You can see the kind of people that we have in a place of authority. You know, when Natasha Akpoti says that a lot of our lawmakers have no business being lawmakers, they should be in jail. Some of these lawmakers have no business representing you. I'm only just echoing what she said. They have no business. Because when they come, they don't come to represent you, they come to represent their own self-interest. And that's exactly what Yemi Adaramodu showed on this interview. Skit making makes a lot of business for Nigeria. If you take away skit making from our society, a lot of Nigerians will be jobless. In a country where the government cannot provide jobs, businesses are closing. People are creating jobs out of nothing by themselves without the help of the government. And this one tries to downplay the skit maker as well. But anyway, let me come to the nitty gritty of what I want to discuss about. We're in the hands of the wrong people. That's stated already. But if you hear them talk about this case of Natasha Akpoti's suspension in Binta Nyako's judgment, I think that our judiciary has become one of our biggest problems in Nigeria. In most of the judgment they've given, so incoherent, so incongruous, everything they say, when you take a case to them, they make it more complicated. They did it in the PDP case, in the Labour Party case, in the Natasha Akpoti's case. Make it so complex. Just make it easy for anybody to read it and say, no, this woman should be reinstated. You're infringing on her right. But what the judge actually said is this. And because if you listen to the Senate spokesperson, he always talks about Obiter Dicta, saying that the judge just said what she said as a personal remark, as not binding. But what it is not telling Nigerians is that the judge actually referenced how many days they're suspending Natasha Akpoti from representing our people in relation to how many days they actually sit, the senators sit, have sessions in the Senate. And she said, you normally would have sitting sessions for 181 days out of a 361 days, 360 days here. But you're suspending that for 180 days, meaning that you're only going to allow us to represent our people for 1 day. If you're going to be doing that, that's an infringement on our right. That's an infringement on the right of our people to be represented and on our right to represent our people. By so doing, it's excessive. Based on that decision, in that opinion, now becomes something the lawyers call ratio descending. Okay? That becomes something they call ratio descending because on the basis of that ratio of the number of days you sit and the number of days she's meant to sit for, it is unlawful. By so doing, my opinion is that it's excessive. You should recall her back. It's as simple as that. And that becomes binding. But what the Senate keeps saying is that it's called Obiter Dicta because the judge gave our opinion. In that instance, as I explained, the judge's response or opinion becomes binding. And if you then reference to precedents, when someone like Senator Gege from Delta State was suspended, Aliyu Duma was suspended, and a few others have been suspended. They took the case to court. It was clear. You recall them back. It is unconstitutional. If the federal government, if Bola Tinubu cannot suspend a councillor, how can you suspend a senator? It's not possible. If the president, with all the power that he has, is unconstitutional for him to suspend a councillor, even though he's suspended a governor with the help of the lawmakers themselves, then the lawmakers don't have a right to suspend or the power to suspend another senator. Can you see how these guys will violate the Constitution for their own personal gain, just so that they can prove their manly point, that they control the Senate and they can do as they will? This is why I said earlier that we're in the hands of the wrong people, because we are not governed. We are ruled by whatever the whims they have at that time. So I've explained to you right now. So whenever you hear them saying Obiter Dicta, they're just saying that the judgment just says the response of the opinion of the judge. But in essence, the judge actually gave reference to exactly what she meant when she said it is excessive. She compared two things, the days they sit and the days they're suspending, and then said, by so doing, you're infringing on our rights and you're infringing on the right of our people. So who represents Kogi Central for 6 months? Nobody. If they're making laws, nobody represents Kogi Central. So if they want to do a new state now, What about Kogi Central? Would they have a say in it? Because they should have a say in it, because they're part of the federation. But what this man here is saying is that no, we're going to suspend you because we have the right to do so, and the Constitution gives us the right to discipline. You can discipline a member, but you cannot infringe on the right of a member. You need to separate those two things. That's why I said when we're governed by people who don't respect the law. See, Femi Falana said it clearly when he said we have politicians, supposed big people in the places of authority who have no respect for the rule of law. And that's why there's a breakdown in rule of law today in Nigeria. That's why this same senator who's coming to say that they have a lot to do was part of the same people who ascended their signature falsely to the what? Suspension of a governor of a state. Please, you cannot keep quiet anymore. You have to make sure you lend your voice as well again. I say it all the time. 2027 is the fight for the soul of our country. You cannot leave our Nigeria in the hands of incompetent people. Someone like Yemi Adaramodu, the Senate spokesperson. For me, when I listen to him talk, I just realized that we're in the wrong people's hands. Lawmakers who are not fit to be lawmakers. They need to pack their bags and go. Let other people come and help reshape Nigeria in the image of Nigerians, the way we want Nigeria to be. A country that we can be proud to call home, not one governed and ruled by certain people for their own whims and their own pockets' interests. So put your thoughts, your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Hopefully, I've been able to break this thing down for you and demystify it so that you know that when they speak and they tell, oh, no, it's the judge's opinion, then why did they even go to court in the first place? Don't forget to like, share, importantly, subscribe, and also recommend this channel to others. I'll catch you up in the next video. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.